this summer's work program, and he's doing a great job of mentoring the two young guys that have just come in, Branson Robinson and Andrew Paul. Kendall Milton Jr., who has suffered some injuries each year that he's been here. He's been very healthy this spring, and he's also been healthy this summer. So we're looking for big things out of him, and he also serves in the leadership role because he had the opportunity to get led by James and Zamir, 4-year guys, along with Kenny. So those two guys, along with Dejan Edwards, who's been a consummate student athlete, when you say very unselfish, a team player, knows his role, fits, he's going to be counted on as well this year because he adds value to our football team.
Yeah, you touched on the injuries that Kendall has had. How do you think that has impacted his development? And now that he is seemingly healthy, how does he sort of look so far in fall camp?
He's looked great during fall camp. The development piece, you lose reps when you're not on the football field, but the way we structure practice and have walkthroughs, he's getting those mental reps that are well needed against various looks. So from that perspective, he's still inclined to be a good performer on Saturday nights and Saturday afternoons.
Hey Coach, Andrew Paul from the outside looking in looked like a last-minute addition to this past recruiting class, and definitely wasn't on the media side of things as touted as a Branson Robinson. Just wanted to know what you saw in him and what he brings to the table.
Comes from a good high school program. They won a state championship. He was 6 foot, 220 pounds, so he has great size, has good speed. He's a great kid, has a great family. Very, very quiet, hard worker, so he fits all the character things that we're looking for in our football players. And we also needed another running back. We always like to keep 5 on our roster. Our allotted number is 6, but we've been kind of short of that number because of the talent that we've had in the room. But he's just getting here. He wasn't a mid-year, so he's kind of behind from a mental standpoint. We'll get a chance to evaluate him further in the scrimmage on Saturday, which I know all our guys are going to be looking forward to that.
Thank
you. Yeah, Coach, following up on Paul getting in on a guy late like that, and I think Clemson was in the battle. That's a pretty good school. How does Georgia come into the scene that late and have the pull to get a guy like that that's, even though his star rating may not have been as high, was pretty sought after by championship programs?
Well, he has family from Georgia, so there was a connection there. And the running back tradition here speaks for itself. That tradition was developed way before I got here, and just getting in there the late month of December and the whole month of January, it led the opportunity of me getting to know him, getting to know his family, him getting to know me, and just what he wanted, goals and aspirations fit coming to Georgia.
Coach McGee, 2 questions. One, have you ever had a lot of running backs built like Branson Robinson? He seems a little bit different. And second, can you tell us about some of the other guys on the team that you helped recruit? Everyone knows you as being running backs coach, but there are a lot of guys on this team that, I don't know if you were the primary recruiter, but you were definitely in it. Can you give us some of those names?
Branson, the way he's built like a brick house. Doesn't have a neck. Just referring back to one of my teammates, Takeo Spikes. He's very similar from the shoulders up, built like Takeo Spikes. I mean, Nick Chubb was a good-looking student athlete as well. But Branson's more than just muscle. He's very dedicated. He works hard, obviously, in the weight room and strength and conditioning. But he's a sharp young man, and he's going to be relied upon this year. With the second question, as a staff, we have to go out and help recruit other positions. When I'm signing only 1 or 2 running backs, and I got a great relationship and rapport with high school coaches. I feel like I can talk to any parent, any mix, any race, any socioeconomic status. I try to fit in where I can to help get the best players here. And just being one of the longest tenured coaches here, that's just part of what Coach Smart wants, and whatever he wants from me, I'm going to definitely do it.
I think from the public standpoint, Dejan Edwards is maybe the least talked about running back in this room. What can you tell people that they don't know about him? What does he bring to the table? What they're going to see in a few weeks?
He's really quiet. He's not going to be a boastful guy. He doesn't talk a whole lot. But what you're going to get is what you see on Saturdays that you've seen. He's very unselfish. He closed out a lot of games. He wasn't a guy that was pouting because he didn't get in earlier in the game. He adds value and has a role on special teams, and that's a very, very important component of our success on the football field. He's going to be a competitor, and he's having a great camp thus far, and he had a great spring too. So expecting great things out of Dejan, and he's graduated into a role where he's going to get snaps.
Dale, when Glenn came up and talked to us a few days ago, I mean, he talked about how long he's been here now. You two obviously were on that first staff. Just how much have things changed for you around the program from going way back then to where things stand now?
First off, we don't have to take that 15-minute bus ride to the solar panels. So that was a definite comfort. The only thing we lost in that was a little connection piece. You got a chance to talk to your players before and after practice on those bus rides. But the facility speaks for itself. I mean, it's the best facility in the country. Our kids are well deserving, and they're treated very, very well, and it adds to our practice efficiency on a day-to-day basis. Other than the fact of our fields not being side by side, I think that's probably the only drawback that we have right now, the distance that you have to travel from one field to another. And as much as we practice two spots, it will add yards, unwanted yards that's not needed, and it can cut efficiency of practice at times.
Dell, want to kind of invoke the coordinator part of your title. How have you seen this offense evolve and adapt with Todd bringing his principles in, kind of modernizing, quote unquote, but without forgetting the running part of it? What kind of made Georgia great?
First, it goes back to recruiting. We recruited very, very well on the offensive line, so everything starts up front. Going to Coach Monken, he's a very, very smart, detailed, consistent coach. He's going to demand a lot from the coaches, and he also demands a lot of the players. I think he does a great job of identifying the personnel, what fits certain plays, trying to use the dynamics of each individual player to maximize their abilities on Saturdays. I would say his NFL system fits us. He didn't come in and try to change every single thing, and he's also open to ideas. That's one thing, gives us a lot of input. And when you talk about adding Mike Bobo, a 20-year-plus coordinator, Buster Faulkner, who's a 11-plus coordinator, Brian Clinton, who's been an offensive coordinator as well, you have a lot of knowledge and experience, and he leans on that too. And I think it's a real joy to work with Coach Monken. I've learned a lot from him. Like I say, he's very particular in the details, the small things, the little things, and he holds everyone accountable.
Yeah, Dale, this applies to running backs, but I guess receivers too. How do y'all go about the decisions to rotate guys within a game? Is there a set plan going into it? Is it in the moment you figure who has the hot hand, who needs a break? Like, what are those decisions look like in terms of rotating guys in and out?
Well, the decisions are made during practice, so you got to show that you understand the details of the assignment, and then you got to execute whatever play is called during practice. And I think through practice, and you build days up and you stack days, you build confidence in the coaches, and you try to find roles for those guys. So everything that we do and make decisions about all come from how you do in practice and execute those assignments.
Coach Schumann the other day said that you guys as coaches are spending more time here with the players and the other coaches than you are your own families. He hated to admit that. But I wanted to know what that sacrifice has been like for you when you encompass your job in total: coaching, planning, recruiting. If you could just tell us a little bit more about what that sacrifice is.
If you're married, you got to have a strong wife at home to kind of choreograph the day of the kids and bills. I don't even know what's in my checking account. I don't do nothing in regards to house note insurance. So I think having a great leader at home is big, and then just stressing to your kids that this is a sacrifice. And you know, it's tough at times, but Coach Smart does a great job of allowing us to get back home and and spend time with our families. You know, the biggest time consumptions are, you know, right now while we're in camp, but once you get into the season, you get in kind of a routine, and you know, from Saturday after the game all the way to Wednesday, you're gonna grind, and we get the opportunity to go straight home after practice on Wednesday. So we kind of have our day Wednesday as a family, and Thursday is the same. Sometimes it's not the case for myself or non-coordinators, because on Thursday sometimes we have to get in place to recruit and watch prospects play on Friday night. But it's part of the job, and I love the job that we have, and you know, it's us giving back.
So, just a decade ago was your last season at Carver, right?
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So just kind of talk about just your journey, 10 years now you're in your 6th, 7th year as a run game coordinator here at Georgia. Just kind of talk about your journey to this point over the last decade.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing about it. Being a high school coach really taught me a lot, how to talk and communicate with the kids. I constantly had parents that weren't involved, that I had to try to get involved. We definitely had a very low socioeconomic status of kids when I was at Carver, so resources weren't necessarily there. So just being connected to my players, communicating with my players and parents, just saying the right things at the right time really mattered. And at the end of the day, it's about people, how you treat people, the relationships that you develop and have with your players and parents. And I still have continued relationships with guys I've coached in high school, as well as here at Georgia. I think that's just important. You're getting more than a coach when you get me. You're getting someone that's going to be what I call part of your lifeline forever. You know, I get invited to weddings, and my ex-players tell me when they're having kids and things that they're going through, or they ask for advice in the profession or even outside the profession. So as a coach, you wear a lot of different hats, and being a high school coach, the only thing I have to do now is cut grass and line the field and fertilize grass. So those are things that have kind of stopped. But just being around people, I love that. I've been part of a locker room since I was basically 10 years old. So just being part of that team component, that camaraderie, celebrating after wins in the locker room, you know, that's just the best part of my job.
Coach, you mentioned Kenny McIntosh. Coach Monken talked a lot about Kenny's versatility earlier, and he was another guy, I guess you got in late, had to beat Oklahoma for him, played, moved to UGA to South Florida, and recruit a guy like that. Kind of been overshadowed, all the talks of Demir and Cook. Now he's a senior. What's his ceiling, do you think, with Georgia?
He can do everything. He can run inside the tackles, he can run outside the tackles. He's really good on the perimeter. Has really good hands, probably some of the best hands since DeAndre. He's good at running routes. He's a physical blitz pickup on third down, so he's definitely a complete back. And he's learned a lot from James and Zamir, and it's also a good example of, just like James and Zamir was, of just staying the course, not being too anxious to enter the NFL or enter the transfer portal. Just being patient. And you know, hopefully all his hard work and his patience is going to pay off this year. I think the sky's the limit for him, and he's definitely going to be an integral part of our offense, and he'll be relied upon heavily. And he also adds value to our special teams, too, as a kick returner and on the punt team. He was a starter last year.
Joe, when you came here in 2016, how many years did you figure you might be here, and what's it been like to see, you know, where you guys were when the staff came in then to get the national title last season?
Yeah, well, I mentioned the solar panel, so that was part of it. And then if you just think about it from, you know, wins and losses, going from the Liberty Bowl to playing at the pinnacle of the national championship in 17, and then again this past year, you know, that's what you strive to do as a coach. I think you can also look at the fact that we only had one player drafted after that 2016 season. Now you come to this year, we had 15. So it's just a testament of the structure, what Coach Smart demands out of us as coaches, and the recruiting philosophy, the everyday details, and the standard that has to be upheld, and that has grown, and just creating competitive depth where our guys are competing where they can't get complacent is a pleasure, actually.
Coach McGee, we were watching during part of the open period the other day, your running backs take on inside linebackers and pass protection. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those inside linebackers, considering you've had to replace 3 of them, and who's kind of giving your guys some trouble, if you would?
Yeah, I think all the linebackers are capable. Starting with Pop, which y'all know that's Dumas. His nickname is Pop. He looked like an old man, so call him Pop. But I think he's done a great job. Smile Munden, who's coming off an injury, I think he has a very, very bright future, and will continue to develop. Sori, Xavier Sori, really, really fast linebacker that has great acceleration and has a great ceiling on top of him. Jalen Walker, who just got here as a mid-year, possesses a lot of pass rush ability, and I think that's probably a better question for our defense guys, but all those guys are a handful to pick up on blitzes. So I know Coach Schumann and Coach Muschamp's going to do the best job to put them in position to make plays for our team. We're only in day 7, so there's a lot of answers that will be kind of told once we scrimmage on Saturday, especially with our younger guys that really hadn't played or just got here, and we'll see where we are from there after that scrimmage.
Hey, Coach. Given your history with the city of Columbus, and you were talking earlier about your relationship with recruits and their families, and he's been talked about all offseason, hyped up. I was wondering, how long have you known about defensive lineman Michael Williams, and how was that suspense watching his recruitment, and how did it feel finally being able to see him committed to Georgia?
It was definitely tough initially when he committed to USC. I've been knowing his pops and his grandfather and his uncle for a long time, so we knew we weren't never out of it. So we just stayed the course, stayed consistent, and the product kind of speaks for itself. And Michael's a Georgia kid that loves Georgia. I think he's going to do things in an exceptional manner, which he has already. You can see the extra work and attention to detail that he has as a young player. He actually came in and practiced with our team during the bowl week for a couple of days, and he went through 14 spring practices in the spring game, but even this summer, even days you would see on off days he would be working. He was working on a Sunday, doing extra things to make himself a better football player. So you're getting a very, very hard worker, kind of unmatched from a hard work standpoint, and that's what you want out of a young player, so they can kind of influence their class as well as the older guys. That hey, this is a standard. Look at what Michael's doing.
Let's take 2 more questions.
Dell, kind of going off of that, you guys have gotten talent out of Columbus, Phoenix City, continue recruiting that area. Just as a coach that spent so much time down there, just what does that mean to you to see that area continuing to thrive just in high school football and the talent that comes out of there?
Yeah, there's a lot of talent in that area, counting Columbus and Phoenix City. Phoenix City of late has been really excelling on the football field, so you've had a lot of kids kind of cross over the river a little bit, but it's just a great area. It's always have been, always will be. Me being from Columbus, I'm definitely tied into that area, and I'm in the know, and I kind of know some of the kids before they even hit the high school marks that, hey, this middle school kid I already know about. I heard about the Little League running back, so I kind of got a little bit of a head start on everybody else. So we're able to get those younger kids up to our camp and on campus, and we're able to kind of build that relationship with those kids.
Hey, Dell, I know in the past we've asked you about potentially being a head coach one day. 7 years now at Georgia. How do you feel like you've progressed in that desire to become a head coach should that opportunity one day present itself?
Like I've said previously, I really don't control that part of the process. I'm just very, very happy to be the running back coach at Georgia. Coach Smart has been a blessing to me. I really want to thank him for affording me the opportunity to be the running back coach here. Also the opportunities that he allows me to be in front of our football team and in front of our offensive staff as well. I mean, Coach Smart has done everything as a mentor that you can do for as a head coach, assistant coach. And he's very, very positive when it comes to his assistants moving on. We've had several assistants to move on to become head coaches. And just being part of his pedigree is very special to me. But my main job is being the best running back coach I can here. I feel like I'm a head coach every single day because I'm in charge of the running backs and special team areas that I'm in charge of. And I take all my jobs seriously, just like a head coach.
Thank you.